Hey, we're live. Very, very cool. How you guys doing? So let me let TikTok know that we're on. It is January 25th, 28th. It is January 28th, 2025. It is 12:20 here in Texas. It is a gloomy day. Let me get started. Person says he provides a service to all. Film a little video. Hi guys, we're going live today and now. Join me here. All right. Hi guys, we're going live today and now. Join me here. I'm such a deep thinker. Hi guys, we're going live today and now. Join me here. Let's see. Hi guys, we're going live today. Okay, we get it. Now. We get it. Join me here. Hi guys, we're going live today. I know how to do those TikTok videos, man. I'm a genius. Let me turn up the volume. I am noticing that the streaming on this video on my webcam is just really bad. All right, let me put this out. 1/28, 2025 live. TikTok live. Live. Post. I don't think about this stuff. I have to have a list. Okay. Effects. Yes, please. I need effects. Okay, cool. Let's do this. Bigger hearts. All right, we're live. All right. All right, cool. Oh, there we go. All right, cool. Happy Tuesday, January 28th, 2025. Let's get into it, folks. Lots of stuff has been going on. I swear, Trump has just given us the best. Giving us the best. Scariest news ever. I'm going to share my screen. Yeah, I'm going to go with that one. All right, cool. I think I'm doing this the right way. I think so. Let's see. All right, I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to do this so we can get a full of my screen. Hi, Martin Luther. We're live on TikTok and we're also live on YouTube as well. So let's go over some news. I'm going to change this though. Hi, Lindsay. How are you, friend? All right, let's go over the executive orders that Trump has passed and signed after his first week in office. So, Trump has promised to do a lot of things, right? And he's been pretty busy. He loves those big Sharpie pens. He loves signing shit. That's what I noticed. So, the good thing is that everyone else around him that is counteracting his actions have been busy too. So, all right. So we've got Unleashing American Energy. It encourages energy exploration. So basically, this order encourages energy exploration and production on federal lands and waters, including offshore, promoting critical minerals as well as fossil fuels. It lays out a policy to promote true consumer choice. Hi, Devin. Amongst household appliances, where President Trump has long criticized efficiency requirements. So like the Energy Star, like appliances, that's what they're referring to. So what it does, it's immediately reverses a number of the Biden era environmental orders and calls for a freeze on the disbursement of some of those congressionally allocated funds while the administration reviews whether they're compatible with the new policy direction. Hi, Juan. Welcome in. It cancels. So the timing is it cancels contradictory past executive orders immediately, and it's going to require that the agencies act within the 30 days. So that's the first one. Thanks for liking the live. I just learned about this whole 10,000 likes within the first 10 minutes or something like that. But I know you can't do that by yourself, Juan. So no worries. The second Trump action was declaring a national energy emergency. Oh no, that's okay. You need your fingers to work. So declaring a national energy emergency is an order that says that inadequate energy production poses an unusual and extraordinary threat to the U.S. It directs agencies to identify emergency authorities, expansions of the executive branch's powers available in times of crisis that could facilitate energy projects like leasing land for oil. There you go. Whenever there's a question about Trump's executive orders, if you're confused, just look for ways in how people have invested in the stocks that bring you these tools, supplies, any of those things, because that's where it is. Whenever you're confused, you always follow the money, because that will tell you exactly why he's declared, a national emergency on something or other. So yeah, he's declared a national emergency on what's the word? Household appliances. This fool. Okay, so that could facilitate energy projects like leasing land for oil and gas production or building pipelines. So there's your answer. Notably, solar and wind power are excluded from the definition of energy. So we're taking those out of the equation. We're taking wind and solar out of the equation and bringing the focus back to utilizing fossil fuels and making sure that the pipes are working, right? so in terms of timing, so he's no joke. He's putting these executive orders out, and the timing for agencies to respond accordingly is going to be real fast, because he's trying to get everyone scattered around like chickens with their heads cut off, and making sure that they're coming back as soon as possible, so that he can also distract for other things that he's trying to do as well. So agencies must identify plans and submit a report within 30 days. The third action, this is the Putting America First and international environmental agreements. So in this order, as he did in his first administration, Trump is withdrawing the U.S. from the Paris Climate Accord, and Biden's administration U.S. International Climate Finance Plan. It's effective immediately, and agencies have 30 days to submit a report on their actions. So the first two were economy driven. This one's environmental. So he took us again out of the Paris Climate Accord. The fourth, unleashing Alaska's extraordinary resource potential. None of it's good, but this is sad. In line with Trump's pledge to drill, baby, drill, this order establishes that it is U.S. policy for the country to fully avail itself of America's vast lands and resources, and specifically to prioritize developing the state's natural gas reserves for potential export as liquefied natural gas. It aims to roll back restrictions on drilling, mining, and road building that were implemented during the Biden administration. So he's fulfilling. Hey, Ghostly, I'm live on YouTube too. We're talking about Trump's executive orders. So this one, the unleashing Alaska's extraordinary resource. So basically, he's doing good on his promise to drill, baby, drill. Hi, Ivy. This is also effective immediately. Ending the weaponization of the federal government. This is the 5th. This order seeks to hold the previous administrations accountable for the alleged weaponization of the federal government. President Trump directs agency heads to review previous criminal enforcement, civil enforcement, and intelligence conduct that appears politically motivated, and to provide recommendations for holding actors accountable. So that one's called the ending the weaponization of the federal government. 6th, restoring accountability to policy influencing positions within the federal workforce. Hi, Ivy. So this reinstates a prior executive order President Trump signed near the end of his first administration, which reclassified career federal employees into a new category of political appointees. This reclassification removes these employees' civil service protections, which insulated them from political pressures, so that they may now be fired at will. So that gives him a lot of leeway of not being able to hold on. Hi, Ra. Thanks for the Daily Heart. So this basically gives him, it's open season on federal employees. So those that he deems are dangerous or not doing their job or they're lazy or whatever names that he wants to use, this gives him the authority to basically fire any federal employee at will. So what that's going to mean is that a lot of people are going to get fired that he doesn't agree with. And then they're going to be in some sort of litigation for years because they know that they are mostly going to be fired for retaliatory actions on behalf of Trump. We've already seen it with people in Department of Justice that have gone after him for his misdeeds. But I think he actually resigned before Trump was able to fire him. So, woo, this is what happens when children are in office, people. Hi, Geez Louise. I love that name. Hi, Nina Renee. All right. Okay, this one's holding former government officials accountable for election interference and improper disclosure of sensitive governmental information. Essentially, what this looks like is that he's just putting into place all these executive orders to either help his biggest donators, his big, contributors to his campaign, or in retaliation of things that were done under the Biden administration against him for him breaking the law. President Trump revoked the security clearances of dozens of intelligence officials who signed a 2020 letter discrediting a disparaging report about Hunter Biden. This order also revoked security clearances for John Bolton, his former national security advisor, who published a memoir about him in 2020 about his time in the White House. Again, this is retaliation. He just got his little man feelings hurt. And so now he's revoking everyone's security clearances. The seventh one is reforming the federal hiring process and restoring merit to the government service. This order is aimed at increasing the overall efficiency of selecting and recruiting government employees. We'll talk about this in a second. Agencies are directed to enact a process that prioritizes candidates committed to government efficiency and the ideals of our American Republic without consideration of race, sex, or religion. i.e., what this means is that it doesn't matter what their qualifications are. This is what I'm getting from it. You guys can tell me different if you think different, right? It doesn't matter what any candidate's qualifications are, their experience, their education for the position, but what matters most is their commitment. Not so much to the federal government, but to him. That's the way I see it. Tell me different if you think differently. And this says, without consideration of race, sex, or religion. So DEI, obviously, we've heard a lot about that. Those letters coming out lately. So it doesn't matter about EEO. It doesn't matter that, we're meeting like certain criteria, making sure that we have a representation of all genders, of all abilities, of all, gender, religion, any of those things, right? So our want to ensure that hiring practices are above ground, and to ensure that we have an inclusive workforce. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you're committed to him, to the government, right? So I love that it said basically, agencies are directed to enact a process that prioritizes candidates' commitment to government efficiency and the ideals of the American Republic. So a federal hiring plan is due to agencies within 120 days. So just so you guys know, all this work is that the expectations from the agencies when they have to report back to Trump that they've enacted what they've enacted. Just remember, they have to break down a lot of the framework that they had to use with other different actions that were enacted prior to him coming in. So it's like almost, starting kind of from scratch, because hiring, especially in the federal government, you have to be able to meet all sorts of different criteria. So this is basically asking them to kind of start from scratch under this kind of framework that he's setting forth. Ending radical and wasteful government DEI programs and preferencing. So I want you also, guys, to notice the language that he's using when he's enacting these orders. So you'll see things of like holding accountability and restoring, as to say, it's just like his little like dig, like little man dig, So this one in particular gets me, right? It says ending radical and wasteful government DEI programs and preferencing. So all the DEI initiatives that we set forth, that the federal government set forth to make sure that companies are hiring legally, right? And that they don't look like just nothing but white men on their roster, but to ensure that they're giving equal opportunity to everyone else. That's radical and it's wasteful. So it says the director of the Office of Management and Budget and other agencies are directed to terminate. We've heard a lot about this in the news because it affects so many people. To terminate diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in the federal government. Agencies must report to the OMB director a list of all of their employees. That's kind of scary. In DEI, and this is in quotes, environmental justice positions, as well as related committees, programs, activities, services, and budgets. So I'm wondering, and I'll have to check up on the news recently, but I'm wondering if they're also firing them. Yeah. So agencies must take action on this order within 60 days. Defending women. This is the 8th, I think we're going on. You guys, this was all on January 20th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is the 10th. Hi, Jenny. Thanks for coming in. So this is the 10th. Defending women from gender ideology extremism and restoring biological truth to the federal government. So this order recognizes that there's only 2 sexes, male and female, and mandates that the federal government assert biological distinctions between men and women and refer to those individuals by their sex instead of their gender identity. So he's real petty, right? We know that. He held up our stimulus checks because he needed to sign them. That's how much he loves his signature and his Sharpie. Okay. So I would not be surprised as an HR director and as a person who has over 15 years of HR experience to see that a lot of applications of what the federal government requires, right, that we need to report, especially federal like governmental positions, that he's going to eliminate. He's going to eliminate it all. So I guarantee you all the paperwork that's involved when hiring or having to, those are all going to go wayside. And it's just going to be male and female. That's it. And I would not put it past him that he's going to enforce something along the lines of, if a person refuses to identify, that then they don't get even considered for a position. This is just crazy. Okay. It further prohibits the use of federal funds to promote gender ideology. This is effective immediately. So all these agencies are probably working overtime trying to meet a lot of these timelines that he's putting up. Yeah, Ghostly. And just remember, there's a lot of people, dude, I got to put in my 10 cents, my 20, 25 cents, 50 cents. So when people are up in arms, happy that we're getting rid of this unnecessary, right, and radical thinking of hiring diversely, is that a word? I don't know. That he, damn, I lost my train of thought. God bless it. I forgot. Oh, people who are all up in arms and happy that, we're getting rid of DEI. Well, DEI also covers gender. So this was initially enacted, and the biggest recipients, look it up. If you don't believe me, look it up. The biggest recipients of DEI initiatives are white women. Women, because they're women. But they are the reason why, and they have benefited the most from these initiatives than anyone else. So a lot of people, as we've seen, the FAFO are going to fuck around and find out. So I need to turn off my notifications. Are you kidding me? Okay. So this 10th order is really funny because the title of it was Defending Women from Gender Ideology Extremism. So it's like, I'm doing you a favor. I'm protecting women. So stupid. Okay, 11th, establishing and implementing the President's Department of Government Efficiency. Now we're talking about his homie, Elon Musk. This executive order renames and reorganizes the U.S. Digital Service. I don't know who's calling me. Renames and reorganizes the U.S. Digital Service, a decade-old office that recruits private sector talent to work on projects that improve outdated and inefficient government technology and designs. The new Doge, which is a crypto coin, just so you know, that's like the original name of a crypto coin, right? The new U.S. Doge service, which is the Department of Government and Efficiency, appears to serve a similar function. Within the USDS, there will be a new temporary organization that appears to align with the Trump-backed Doge mission led by billionaire Elon Musk to cut government spending. So I don't know if you guys remember, but when Trump was running, Elon said, yeah, I can cut the budget by trillions. Well, now reality has hit and he is not able to do it. So I'll actually make a note to see how much he is able to do that. No, sorry, I didn't mean to cheer. Someone keeps inviting me and I don't want to go on. Okay. Restoring names that honor American greatness. This order directs the Secretary of the Interior in the next 30 days to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, because priorities, people, because this is where our tax money should go. And Alaska's Denali Mountain, Mount McKinley, after former President William McKinley. So there's no more Denali Mountain. It's now going to be renamed Mount McKinley. It also orders the appointment of members to the U.S. Board of Geography Names who will be sympathetic to Trump's policies. So the Department of Interior has 30 days to take action on these name changes. And it's just not the name changes. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that they're going to have to now rename because of this. Okay, 12th, restoring freedom of speech and ending federal censorship. In this order, President Trump asserts the federal government's commitment to the First Amendment right to the freedom of speech and bars federal employees from interfering with that right. The order also directs the Attorney General to investigate and seek remedial actions for the federal government's activities in the last 4 years that were inconsistent with this order's promise. This is effective immediately. What are we on, 13, I think? America's first policy directive to the Secretary of State. This order directs the Secretary of State to issue State Department guidance advancing America First foreign policy through the agency's policies, programs, personnel, and operations. The directive cites the need for championing the interests of American citizens above all else. It does not describe specific programs or policy that would meet this purpose. Okay. That's effective immediately as well. The next one is reevaluating and realigning United States foreign aid. This executive order immediately places a 90-day pause on foreign aid or assistance to U.S. allies while administration evaluates current aid programs. During this time, agencies will determine whether to resume, modify, or cease foreign assistance programs at the end of the freeze. Effective immediately. So you're able to actually go in and it links up to the actual executive order because this is a summary. So this links up to reevaluating and realigning United States foreign aid. And I want to see whether or not, I don't believe that this would have anything to do with aid. Oh, it's very short. For wars. That might be an actual other one. Hi, LJ. We're going over Trump's new executive orders. So there's no. So actually, in this executive order, there's no specification. It's exactly a summary of it too. Okay. All right. Here's another one that's going to affect us all, just so you guys know. Withdrawing the United States from the World Health Organization. The order begins with the process of withdrawing from the World Health Organization, or WHO. It also rescinds a prior executive order signed by former Joe Biden that coordinated the federal government's COVID-19 response efforts and implemented processes to respond to the emerging pandemics. So there is So make sure on your end to make sure that you are informed as an American, that you are connected with these organizations to ensure that you're getting direct communication from them. And you're not getting it just from White House communication or your news. So make sure that you are receiving like newsletters from who, what's another organization that be in equal employment opportunity. I think I'll make a list of all the things that we should, as Americans, be in the know about so that we're getting the information directly from the horse's mouth. Okay. Clarifying the military's role in protecting territorial integrity of the United States. So this order directs the Secretary of Defense to protect U.S.'s sovereignty and territorial integrity by having the U.S. Northern Command seal the southern U.S. border to prevent mass migration, narcotics trafficking, human smuggling, and trafficking, amongst others. U.S. NORTHCOM is slated to provide security at the southern border while the National Border Emergency is in its place. So what this looks like, and this is the reason why the site that I'm, basically referring to in these summaries is U.S. NORTHCOM would be a good place to look up. So this, what it appears is that it's a private security firm. They're providing the security there at the southern border. So I'd be very interested to know who owns U.S. NORTHCOM, because again, follow the money. Yeah, I'll do that, Ghostly. I'd be very interested to know who owns U.S. NORTHCOM and how much they contributed to Donald Trump's campaign and or any senators. So actually, I brought it in. I'm making myself a note. Follow the money. U.S. NORTHCOM, and then list of organizations and agencies to follow. Okay. Thanks for liking the live. I appreciate you guys. It's just you and me, Ghostly. You can put me on, I know you're at work. Clarifying okay, we already talked about that. So yeah, I'm gonna look up U.S. NORTHCOM to see if there's any connection there. Something tells me that there is. The next one is realigning the United States' refugee admissions program. This is going to affect a lot of people. This order freezes the U.S. refugee admissions program starting January 27th, so yesterday, suspending refugee admissions and applications. During this time, refugees may only be admitted into the U.S. on a case-by-case basis through a joint decision by the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Homeland Security. The resumption of U.S. RAP will be considered every 90 days. So this is effective in 1 week, and it's up for review in 90 days. I would be very interested to know what refugees are being admitted, because as it says that basically it's up to their discretion to be able to let anyone in. I know you guys have probably seen like on the news and stuff like that, people that had appointments, they had all of their paperwork ready and they canceled them. So, okay. Next one is protecting the meaning and value of American citizenship. So this order denies citizenship to certain U.S.-born children. This is really important. Whose parents are not U.S. citizens or lawful permanent residents. So what would some would consider anchor babies? President Trump asserts these children are not subject to U.S. jurisdiction and therefore not covered by the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, which guarantees citizenships to all persons born or naturalized in the United States. So this one is already being contested because when you mess around with anything from our Constitution, any amendment, he's up for a fight. So I really, really doubt that this will get passed. But of course, he's very defiant. He says, oh, we'll get this in front. This is what he said. We'll get this in front of the right judge. So who knows? If it were not to be passed, then I'd be very interested to know, because he will try to find a way to be able to enforce it without being legal. So this might mean for a lot of people that they're going to be in a waiting game. Or if they hire lawyers, there's going to be a lot of litigation, I think. That's what it would feel like to me, you know. Securing our borders. So this executive order proposes a joint state and federal effort to seize and prevent future immigration at the southern border. Trump orders agencies to construct a physical barrier, which we've already seen that happening, deploy federal law enforcement personnel to the southern border, which we've seen, and aggressively, and it says this, aggressively pursue criminal prosecutions for those who violate the law while in the United States. Next one is restoring the death penalty and protecting the public safety. In response to the Biden administration's moratorium on carrying out the death penalty, this executive order commands the Attorney General to resume pursuing the death penalty whenever possible. Whenever possible. That's kind of sick. The Attorney General is also ordered to pursue federal prosecution and the death penalty for capital crimes committed by anyone without legal status. Wow. State prosecutors who are not bound by this order are encouraged to do the same. Okay, so he's recommending that state prosecutors who don't have to follow anything, who don't have to follow this or any result of this, should follow the same. That's scary. Hi, Nina. Hi, Marita. We're reviewing Trump's executive orders. Okay, the next is protecting the American people. Oh, and all of those are effective immediately. Protecting the American people against invasion. In this lengthy executive order, Trump calls for the immediate removal of those in the United States without legal status. He orders agencies to enforce removal orders, criminalize unauthorized entry into the U.S., extend the Department of Homeland Security's presence in all 50 states, and construct detention facilities for all those awaiting removal proceedings. The order also calls for civil fines in addition to removal and cuts of federal funding from sanctuary jurisdictions. So, as you guys know, that there's a lot of sanctuary states and cities throughout the U.S. So this was in response to Trump's orders under his last administration. So we've got sanctuary cities like Chicago, California. I want to say New York. I'm sure New York. I think. Who knows at this point with that one? So basically, he's saying that if these sanctuary cities don't fall in line, aren't doing what they're supposed to by enforcing this, that they will receive federal cuts for their funding. An increase. So he wants to extend the Department of Homeland Security's presence in all 50 states and construct detention facilities. So this is a good one. Under the last, I would say since September of 2024, Joe Biden started pricing out contractors and private prison companies because we don't have any room in a lot of our jails, which is kind of scary if you think about it. So this opened up for a lot of private prisons to start popping up. So this is a long conversation that probably, out of respect needs like a separate stream in itself. But we still have modern day slavery and slave labor, and that is through our prison system. We hire and we use a lot of prison labor, where companies can get away with paying cents, pennies, to incarcerated men and women to make our products. And I'm going to make a list for myself to see what companies participate. With prison labor. I'd like to know a little bit about that. Also, I've seen some news about this already, the private prisons, because a lot of our, just like in Meta, you guys, a lot of our senators have stock in these companies, in these private prisons. And I want to know who owns them and who contributed and how much was contributed to Trump's president campaign. Follow the money. Okay. Designing cartels and other organizations, designating cartels and other organizations as foreign terrorist organizations, and especially designated global terrorists. If you guys can tap, I'd really appreciate it. Tap and share so we can get out to the For You page. This order asks the Secretary of State to issue a recommendation within 14 days on whether to designate certain cartels and other transnational organizations as foreign terrorist organizations. If groups are identified, agencies should prepare for Trump to invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 against these newly designated terrorist groups. Now, I want you guys to pay close attention to the fact that all the other that we've read, all the other orders is do this or else face this, and it's been very straightforward and clear. This one in particular says, this one's a little iffy. And if you just pay attention to the wording in this one, It's like, if we can enforce it, let's do it. And the reason why is because our government is highly, highly involved in doing business with drug cartels, indirectly or directly. So whether it be benefiting from it on some sort of level, I know that, like, for a lot of things that are being seized, a lot of things are being taken off the top, if you know what I mean. And also a lot of people in our agencies, in our police agencies, also do undercover work with them. Yeah. So, I mean, the verbiage on this, the order asks the Secretary of State to issue a recommendation within 14 days on whether to designate certain cartels. So I'd be interested to know, if they do designate certain cartels and not others, which ones are they not designating as a cartel and why? Which cartels are being officially designated cartels and why? Okay. So he's enacting the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. This is effective within 14 days. Hi, Heather. We're going over executive orders and just kind of summarizing them and following the money. Thanks for liking live. I appreciate you. Protecting the United States from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. So in this order commands agencies to pursue more stringent vetting and screening procedures for people immigrating to the United States, seeking a visa or applying for refugee status. Thank you. It foreshadows the suspension of all immigration from certain countries and encourages immediate removal of non-U.S. citizens within agency discretion. The order also calls for assimilating new immigrants by promoting a unified American identity. Oh, Lord, what does that mean? This is effective immediately. Agencies must issue a report and recommendations for further action in 60 days. So that's what they're holding them accountable to. Thanks for liking the live. Hi, Mandy. How are you? We're going over Trump's executive orders. Application. Thanks for liking the live. Hi, JB. Application of Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act to TikTok. So this affects us. This executive order seeks to hit pause for 75 days. So that was January 20th, you guys. So 75 days would put us three months would be approximately about 90 days. So, and that was in January. So we're looking at early March, right? Yeah, we're looking at early March on an answer to this. So this executive order hits pause for 75 days on a law banning TikTok and to provide a liability shield to business partners of the popular video app. The text of this order said this will give Trump's administration time to pursue a resolution that protects national security while saving a platform used by 170 million Americans. So it's effective immediately and it expires in 75 days. And initial rescissions of harmful executive orders and actions. This order rescinds 78 executive actions signed by the former President Joe Biden, including several public health regulations. It also revokes an order promoting voter registration and the census order that could clear a path for reshaping election maps. So in this order, it rescinds 78 executive orders promoted and written or put together by the Biden administration. That's crazy. This calls for a report within 30 days and an additional action 15 days later. No, I'm sorry, I looked at the wrong one. This is effective immediately. I want to know what 78 executive actions this rescinds. Executive Biden orders. Thanks for liking the live. Designation of Ansar Allah as a foreign terrorist organization. Following a January 20th executive order, President Trump began designating certain transnational, thanks for your daily hearts. Following a January 20th executive order, President Trump began designating certain transnational organizations as terrorist groups. In this order, Trump aims to designate Ansar Allah, also known as the Houthis, as a foreign terrorist organization. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much. Citing previous attacks on the United States military and U.S. allies. So this calls for a report within 30 days and additional action 15 days later. I wonder what else. Oh, so that executive order only refers to the Houthis. Removing barriers. The next one is removing barriers to American leadership in AI. So this executive order follows President Trump's actions to rescind President Biden's 2023 executive order on AI. And it looks at ways to further rescind AI policies established under Biden. The executive order will revoke past government policies that act as barriers to AI innovation. Okay. And it says, we will develop AI systems that are free from ideological bias or engineered social agendas. And then it says the action that they're taking is certain policies will be rescinded immediately and an action plan will be submitted within 180 days. Hi, Renee. Welcome in. Thanks for the finger hearts, you guys. The next one is that AI thing is worrisome to me. I think it should be worrisome to everyone. That was you. Thanks for the love. I appreciate it, you guys. Thanks so much. Oh my goodness. I'm going to need a drink after this. Okay, declassification of records concerning the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This was, thank you, I appreciate you. On the 23rd, so 3 days after he took office, or 4 days, this order states it is in the national interest to release all records related to these assassinations without delay. Did you subscribe? What? Huh. Did you subscribe, Mandy? Oh my gosh. You're my first subscriber. Thank you so much. That means the world to me. Oh my God. Thank you. I'm going to have to see it. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You're going to make me all sappy and warm inside after reading all this mess. Oh, thank you. Thanks. Okay, declassification. Okay, so this is a big one, right? This order states it is in the national interest to release all records related to these assassinations without delay. Previous records relating to former President John F. Kennedy have been released with redactions in 2017. So within 15 days, the Director of National Intelligence and the Attorney General, which I believe the Attorney General just resigned, will present a plan for the Kennedy records release. So 15 days, you guys, that was January 23rd. So that's 1 week, that's 2. So that puts us at the 12th. So the 12th of February, we should be seeing this. That's very interesting. I'm actually interested in, because they say that the CIA was involved in that assassination. Probably because they found something. Hey, don't be mean to your brother. But do you guys hear this? What are you barking? What are you growling about? No, it's not a pit bull. It's a Chiweenie. This is the tough guy of all tough guys. All right. So the Director of National, and the Attorney General will present a plan for the Kennedy's records release. Within 45 days, they are to present a plan to the president on releasing the Robert F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr. records. So in 15 days, they're going to present a plan on how they're going to release the Kennedy records, and then 45 days for Robert Kennedy and then MLK Jr. This should be interesting. But it's going to implicate the U.S. government. Does he know that? Juan, what do you know about that? Since you're my fellow conspiracy theorist. Because almost all books, yeah. This is going to implicate people in the government. Is he purposely doing this, or does he not know? Yeah. But the mafia is the CIA. The mafia is with the CIA. This is going to be good. It says it's going to turn off my live. Well, if it turns it off, you guys can go to my YouTube. This is ridiculous. I'm just reading the news. Okay. Next one, strengthening American leadership in digital financial technology. Oh, this is going to be a mess. This executive order calls for regulatory framework to promote American investment and in digital assets like cryptocurrencies and financial technologies like blockchain. This is bad. Priorities include expanding access to blockchain technology, increasing the mining and development. Every time I see something pop up, I'm afraid it's like another violation. And development of digital currencies and software, and promoting US dollar-backed cryptocurrencies over central bank digital currencies. That's kind of scary to me. What do you guys know about crypto? So they're going to prioritize crypto over regular digital. All I know is that if we see ads about it on TikTok, like as if it was like a TikTok shop product or something like that, that kind of takes away like the steam, I don't know. That's a little questionable. I don't know. All right. Priorities include expanding access to blockchain technology, increasing mining and development of digital currencies and software, and promoting US dollar-backed cryptocurrencies over central bank digital currencies. Yeah, because my understanding, this whole from it, is that no one wins. The only people that win are the people that put it out. I always heard it was a scam. I don't know very much about it. So how is this going to affect you, Juan? Is it? It's not like a reputable source of currency, right? This order also establishes a working group on digital asset markets comprised of agency and department leaders. We get no training on it and don't deal with it. Yeah. And you're in the finance industry. I think that tells me everything I need to know about it. Okay. This is a tough one. Enforcing the Hyde Amendment. This executive, 33 years. Dang, you're old, Juan. Just kidding. He's only a couple of years older than me. All right. This executive order reinforces Congress's Hyde Amendment, which prohibits the use of federal dollars to cover abortion and related health care, with limited exceptions. Most notably, the order rescinds two of former President Joe Biden's 2022 executive orders, which sought avenues to expand access to reproductive and emergency. I keep looking to see if I get any. To expand access to reproductive and emergency health care after the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. It's going to be scary. Hi, Tristan. How are you, honey? Emergency measures to provide water. Okay, so this is the next one. Emergency measures to provide water resources in California and improve disaster response in certain areas. So this order directs secretaries of various agencies to report back within 15 days about taking measures necessary to ensure adequate water resources in Southern California. It orders the Interior Department Central Valley Project to quote, deliver more water and produce additional hydropower to high need communities in spite of any contradictory state or local laws. So that's due by authorities in 15 days. A report on California policies in 30 days. Didn't they find out? They found out that these billionaires, this one couple, one family, was using 150 million, something like that, more gallons than the entire state of California. This family owns the pistachio, the Wow Pistachio Group. They own Fiji Water and countless other things. They're like tycoons. They should go after them. Okay. Next one. Council to assess the federal emergency. So FEMA. So council to assess FEMA, essentially. So this order establishes the Federal Emergency Management Agency Review Council to review how the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, is doing its job. The order says that there are, quote, serious concerns of political bias at the agency. The Secretaries of Homeland Security and the Defense are designated co-chairs of the council. It calls for a report and, quote, assessment of adequacy of the agency's disaster responses during the Biden years and to recommend improvements. It is to hold its first public meeting within 90 days with a report due in 180. Okay, the Iron Dome for America. So there's an Iron Dome in Israel, just covering Israel, not the part where Palestinians live. This order seeks to deploy a next generation missile defense shield to defend the U.S. against aerial attacks. The defense secretary must submit a plan for the shield within 60 days. And as far as I know, the new defense secretary has not been brought in yet, right? I thought he just finished his whatever, his interviews or whatever. Chris Hegseth. He's a mess. Have you guys seen that? When he went in front of Congress? Was it Congress? I can't. I need to do more research and more homework. All right. Restoring America's fighting force. This is the next one. This order states that the U.S. Armed Forces should, quote, should operate free from any preference based on race or sex. Speaking of Chris Hedzik, whatever his name is, he is the one who said that women should not be in the military, basically. So it makes sense that this would be one of the executive orders. This says that it abolishes DEI offices and programs in the Defense Department and the Department of Homeland Security. Hi, Katie. Thanks for liking the live, my friends. It prohibits promotion of divisive concepts, including that America's founding documents are racist and sexist. Thanks, friend. We're going back, guys. So what are all those hundreds of thousands of women in the military supposed to do? That's going to be crazy. If I was other countries, I'd be sitting around the news 24/7 with popcorn, just watching the US just implode. They're all laughing at us. Okay. Next one is prioritizing military excellence and readiness. This order contends that service members with gender dysphoria and those with shifting pronoun usage or use of pronouns that inaccurately reflect an individual's sex are unfit to serve in the military. So there's another one. So anyone that goes with the pronouns of they. Yes, exactly. Katie says, I don't know that I understand it completely, but I know that if I get a job, I don't want it to be taken. Okay. So anyone with they, them token, what do you mean? But I know that if I get a job, I don't want it to be a token. No, you want to go in there with your abilities and skills, but this is it. What I'm not understanding. I hope. Yeah. What are you trying to say, Katie? Because I'm not understanding. Get back to me. I'll move on. Okay. So they, them, you are not allowed to use it. And if you do, that's what I've taken from it. What they're saying is that basically, yeah, you don't want to demerit a person because of who they are. Yeah. So basically what it's saying is that all the initiatives that have been put forth, right? All the protective rights that have been put in order to ensure that there's a diversity amongst the workforce in a company or in federal agencies, that's being completely taken away. So, but that also affects women because patriarchy. Because racism that still, exists, and homophobia that still exists, and ableism that still exists. So, okay. Reinstating service members discharged under the military COVID's vaccination mandate. So this applies to military service members who were discharged for refusing to take the COVID-19 vaccine during the pandemic. They're actually being brought back with full back pay, benefits, bonus payments, or compensation. And that's effective immediately, meaning we're looking at the person's merits, not their sexual. Yes. Yeah. We can't take into consideration their gender, their race, their religion. You cannot take that into consideration. Those were all, especially with government agencies, with the federal government, to work for the federal government, or to be a contractor, you need to participate in DEI. You also need to participate in EEO. So that's equal employment opportunities. So that's for companies over a certain threshold. It doesn't apply to small businesses. So larger businesses need to adhere to these initiatives and these laws that basically say that you cannot discriminate based off of a person's gender, their race, their religion, their ability, meaning their physical ability, and but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not qualified. Does that make sense? When you apply, yes. If the person that you apply now to, yes, they do that now. Now, with this new administration, they're getting rid of all of that. So you may even see applications that don't even request any of that stuff. And if it does, you're only going to see a gender, male and female, too. I'm very interested to see what all of these employment applications are now going to look like. Exactly. So Katie's saying, I've been discriminated. I'm just reading your comments because I'm also on YouTube as well. I've been discriminated so much in the past because I was a young woman and they were scared I was going to go and leave and have babies. Exactly. And you should be able to leave to have babies. And I see that a lot too. Because I was an HR director. So there's always that fear that's been instilled, probably brought down, from generations above, of women that have lost their jobs because they went to have babies. When they came back to a different job. They came back to a different office, a different salary, all these things in the name of we had to do what we had to do while you were gone. So all of those laws that exist are going to be eliminated. Yeah, I get it. I feel you. I was laid off after I came back from having my twins. And I remember my boss saying, "So you're done now?" And it's just like, I don't need to tell you anything about what my reproductive plans are. But yeah, I was laid off shortly after due to budget cuts. So yeah, and it used to be 10 times worse. So imagine not having that kind of security because you earned your job, not just because, not because you're a woman, because you were qualified for it. You just so happen to be a woman, I'm actually okay with it. I know that sounds awful, but it annoyed me. Yeah, but at will states will not protect you from discrimination. So you can, employers can do whatever they want, but they risk being sent, being sued. You can be an at-will state and still be sued for not terminating, for terminating legally. Yeah, exactly. They still need a reason. So you will see a lot of, like, I've worked for employers who are like, well, just fire them, do just at will. And it's like, okay, we can technically do that, but do you want to? No, you don't. Exactly. Yeah. Right. So they can, they have someone on the wings that they really want to hire for your position. you mess up one time, right? Because you were late, and they're like, well, we're terminating you at will, just so that they can get that person in. So, I mean, wrongful termination still exists. They can still be fired. They can still be held liable for it. Okay, so we're looking at these folks. So basically, these service members are being brought back with back pay for being fired. I don't know if that would even really affect many people. I worked 60 plus hours. Yeah, they'll find anything if they want to get rid of you. Most employers will find anything to do that. It sucks. And the funny thing is, it's I would have managers come in to my office and just say, so and so asked for more time off. And I said, okay. Or they'll be like, so and so said that they're sick, but I know that they're not sick. And it's just like, it's not up to you to decide whether or not they're sick. If they have PTO, they have every right to take it. Do we want them to utilize it the way we want to? We want them to plan ahead and do all that stuff. Then it's their time to have. We want our employees to be happy. We want our employees to take PTO if they need it. So now it's becoming more transparent, where people have completely eliminated, in the last job, I completely eliminated sick leave because I wanted to get our supervisors out of the framework that it's just like, well, I know so and so wasn't sick. They're just, hungover, or they're just need a mental health day. And it's just like, you know what, we're done. Just give them the day the day off. If it becomes like a serious issue, then we can talk about it. But until then, they have PTO, and let them take it. Let's have happy employees. Seems like it'd be better for nurses, because I saw it on TikTok. Many have lost their jobs. What military one? The COVID, being returned back to their positions and stuff. Hey, Douglas. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know how many nurses refused to do it because they wanted to, I don't know very many nurses that refused to take the COVID or get the COVID immunization. Really? Because I would think that they would want to keep their patients safe. But it doesn't apply to them. They're just talking about military. So that is, let me see. So those were all the executive orders Trump put forward between January 20th and 27th. And if you wanted to look further into it, they're all on the White House webpage. Oh yeah, it boggles my mind. It's you have they sign an oath like doctors do. Yeah. So yesterday, Trump put a lot of senior U.S. AID officials on leave. So senior career officials at the U.S. Agency for International Development on leave for allegedly not abiding by President Trump's executive order to freeze U.S. foreign aid. They've been placed on leave with full pay and benefits until further notice. The memo didn't identify how many people this affected or how many people were placed on leave. The agency staff member spoke about the memo to NPR, obviously wanting to be anonymous because of fears of retribution. They said, "It's shocking. To my knowledge, the stop work order has been closely followed." I want to know exactly what the foreign aid means. Who does this affect? Okay. So within 85 days, the government-wide comprehensive review of all foreign assistance shall be completed, and a report shall be produced to the Secretary of State for his consideration and recommendation to the president, according to the memo, which was signed by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, exempt from this order. So they stopped foreign aid, but they continued with foreign aid to Israel and to Egypt, as well as emergency food aid. Many organizations that receive development funding from the U.S. are based in the country where they operate and employ both local and American staff. All these employees are at risk of losing their pay in the short term and their jobs in the long term. It didn't go into specifics as to who it did affect. Okay. So we're looking at more like humanitarian organizations. So okay, so these are like the international organizations, or I'm sorry, they're the humanitarian organizations that are funded by the U.S. government. But the president of Oxfam, which is not funded by the U.S., says that it's having seismic impacts for the entire global aid system. And she says, and really frankly, it's a cruel decision that has life or death consequences for millions of people around the world. Okay, one of the things that Trump did too was he rescinded over 28, I think it was 28 or 27 of Biden's executive orders, like within one of his orders. So I'm going to find out which ones those are. I have like a list of things I need to do. One of those is Trump has also paused funding for anti-HIV program that prevented 26 million AIDS deaths. So in 2003, President George Bush, it says nearly all global health funding from the US has been halted immediately by the Trump administration. With its 6.5 billion annual budget, PEPFAR, which is the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, which provides HIV and AIDS medications for over 20.6 million people, keeps patients alive and preventing them from transmitting the virus. It also offers testing and education, and it has saved the lives of an estimated 26 million people since its inception. It actually received bipartisan support in Congress. And on Friday, the State Department issued a cable putting into action the January 20th executive order from President Donald Trump that will halt all U.S. foreign assistance for at least 90 days. Okay, so this is one of them that's being affected significantly. On Sunday, the State Department confirmed the halt. It said the United States is no longer going to blindly dole out money with no return for the American people. But it actually does affect the American people. So this would mean it's an abrupt halt in other life-saving programs that will jeopardize the millions of people currently on U.S.-funded HIV/AIDS treatment. So that's a 90-day freeze. So we'll see if if they'll go further enough. But it says it's harmful enough. An immediate secession is catastrophic and much more cruel. He's doing irreparable harm to the global AIDS response. Hi, welcome in. So we still have some Senate hearings ahead of us. One of them being RFK Jr. He is due for so this week. I need to check out when these Senate hearings are and who's still up. Because so far they have been disastrous for the people that are running. So RFK will appear before 2 Senate committees this week in his bid to lead the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. This job in itself oversees all of America's health agencies, including the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Food and Drug Administration, the National Institutes of Health, Medicare and Medicaid, and more. HHS employs about 90,000 people and has a budget of 1.7 trillion annually, which is the size of Australia's GDP. This is huge. So this week, I want to know who has, let me check, Senate hearings coming up. Pam Bondi, who's set to who has the nomination of the Attorney General. When is RFK going up? So Pam Bondi is, so these are the upcoming things that are happening. Today, we've got hearings to examine defense innovation and acquisition reforms. So that's for, that's the Armed Services Committee. We've got Commerce, Science, and Transportation today as well. Hearings to examine the Panama Canal and its impact on U.S. trade and national security, focusing on fees and foreign influence. Today as well, the Veterans Affairs Committee is having hearings to examine the VA's community care program. Today, the Intelligence Committee is reviewing to receive a closed briefing on certain intelligence matters, so that's going to be closed. Wednesday, January 29th, tomorrow, the Judiciary Committee has a business meeting to consider the nomination of Pamela Bondi of Florida to be the Attorney General, Department of Justice. So tomorrow, 29, Pam Bondi. Here we go. Tomorrow, the 29th at 10 a.m. So the same day. So tomorrow, Pam Bondi and then RFK. We'll have a hearing, Senate hearing, for his position of Secretary of Health and Human Services. Hi, LJ. Also the 29th, so it looks like, okay, so the 20th and also tomorrow. So the 29th is also a hearing for Kelly Loeffler, who has the nomination of Administrator of the Small Business Administration. And then on the 30th, Armed Services Committee is going to be examining the nomination of Daniel Driscoll to be the Secretary of the Army, Department of Defense. Kelly Loeffler, small business. Daniel Driscoll. Secretary of Army. Hi, Tanisha. We're going over the upcoming Senate hearings and who's scheduled. Thursday the 30th, the nomination of Kashyap Patel, who's been nominated for the director of the FBI. This is going to be a serious one. Director, FBI. Also 30th, we've got Tulsi Gabbard. For the Director of National Intelligence. The 30th, hearings for the examination of the nomination of RFK. So he's going to be tomorrow and the 30th. The 30th is also Elise Stefanik, who has a nomination to be the representative of the USA in the United Nations. Wow. Also, which I think is kind of important, is on the 30th, there's going to be hearings to, so 30th at 10:30 a.m. In DC, hearings to examine the influence of the People's Republic of China at home and abroad, focusing on recommendations for policymakers. So we might hear some rumblings about TikTok in that conversation. Okay, the last meeting is on the 30th. There's been no time to be announced, but it's to consider the nomination of Russell Vought, who is the director of OMB, which is Office of Management and Budget. So this is the last of it, you guys. This last week is going to be the last of the hearings for to finish up Trump's administration. So there's been a lot of actions that have been taken up in response to Trump's executive orders. Yeah, it says Trump is scrambling to interpret a new Trump administration memo that appears to halt funding for many programs. There's a lot of confusion around it. All the executive orders Trump has signed after 1 week in office. The National Science Foundation freezes grant reviews in response to Trump's executive orders. These are the highlights. Trump signs an executive order taking aim at DEI programs in the military. And then Afghans who help the U.S. are left in limbo after Trump suspends a refugee program for them. So this not only, it also affects allies as well. And I think that's it for that. All we're going to really be seeing in the news is going to be, in response, actions that are taken in response to his executive orders. I know that they're no decline. Hi, Kelly Lolly. We just finished up Trump's executive orders and the upcoming Senate hearings that are finishing up this week. Let's see what else. So I have quite a bit of stuff. Hi, Tanisha. I have quite a bit of stuff on my things to kind of my homework for you guys. I'm going to be looking up who owns U.S. Northcom. who owns the private prison companies um, that are going to be that have been created for the detainment of immigrants, um, and also just following the money. Who owns it? Who's contributed to Trump's campaign, and also senators that have possible stocks in those companies. Um, I said I would come up with a list of companies that do participate in prison labor, so that we can just so we can be educated as consumers. Um, Also, under one of Trump's executive orders is his designation of cartels, and which cartels in specific that he will be designating as national terrorist organizations. And then I'm also going to find out the 78 executive Biden orders that were rescinded under Trump. So I've got some homework to do. All right. Hi, Sam Jean. How are you? Has everyone already had their lunch? And what did you guys have? Let's look at some. I want to know the tea. So there's been a lot of backlash about Target scaling back, or actually just eliminating their DEIA initiatives. And I know that Tabitha Brown has a line at Target. I think it's like food and clothing and home goods and stuff like that. And there's been a lot of backlash. I think she actually Tabitha Brown went on social media to address it. And she got a lot of backlash too about it. Where is her video? Here we go. Okay, so Tabitha Brown went on Instagram yesterday. This is what she said. Oh, where's the volume? Come on. Here we go. Shoot. I hope I'm sharing this. All right, let's go. I want to make sure that I'm sharing it on YouTube. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I'm trying to figure this out. There it is. Okay. Hi, Encouraged. We were just talking about Target and Tabitha Brown. There we go.
I know. It has been a tough week, right? And baby, it's been a tough 2025 and we are still in January. But I know many of you are asking and have asked and sent me messages about the recent DEI announcements at Target as well. And as disheartening as it is for me, I'm not the only one affected by this, right? It's for everyone who is a woman-owned business, minority-owned businesses, Black-owned businesses. It's for so many of us who work so very hard to be placed into retail, to finally be seen and approved for retail. Because contrary to whatever the world might tell you, it has been very hard for Black-owned businesses to hit shelves, right? Which is why it's such a big deal when we do finally land inside of retail. So it is definitely heartbreaking to feel unsupported, right? However, I am in business in multiple ways with Target, with Walmart, and Amazon, right? I sell Donna's Recipe, my hair care products, right, are on Amazon. They're also in Target. And of course, I have a huge partnership with Target. I sell my seasonings at Walmart. I do business all over, just like many other people. And what I can tell you is if we all decide to boycott and be like, no, we're not spending no money at these organizations, listen, I get it. And if that's how you feel, honey, I 1000% get it. But so many of us will be affected and our sales will drop. Our business will be hurt. And if any of you know business, it doesn't just happen overnight where you can just go take all your stuff and pull it off the shelves. There's a process. And then you got to, like, where are you going to put it? You got to have a place to store it. That's money, right? You got to have another place to sell it, which is almost impossible sometimes. And even if you sell online, it's a process when it comes to business. And everyone does not have the funds or the means or the availability, the space to house their own products, right? But the thing that concerns me the most, and I want you to hear me and hear me well, if we all decide to stop supporting said businesses and say, I can't buy nothing from there, even the businesses who were affected by the DEI ban, right? What that does is you take all our sales and they dwindle down. And then those companies get to say, oh, your products are not performing. And they can remove them from the shelves and then put their preferred businesses on the shelves. And then what happens to all the businesses who've worked so hard to get where they are? Then what happens, right? Now, I know that something that could solve it is ownership of these big corporations, right? It's a long way to go there. There are amazing companies like the Village Market in Atlanta, right, who support small businesses, and you can go in there and there's some amazing things that you can buy, but it's one store and it's very small. We're talking about mass market. You can't build that overnight. Do we all sometimes have these big dreams and aspirations to do that? Absolutely, right? But it is easier said than done, but it's not impossible. But until then, and in order to get there, we unfortunately have to play the game. And in playing that game, we got to be smarter than the ones who think they're in control. Okay? And
I'm listening to Tabitha Brown. She went on Instagram yesterday addressing the boycott against Target for turning off or for eliminating their DEI program. Diversity. Are you there? Oh yeah, you are there. Sorry. So I'm listening to her Instagram post responding to her followers and fans and stuff about Target's elimination of DEI programs. So far, she's basically said that there's a lot to it, and she's gone into a little bit of detail about how business works, and so that's kind of where we're at right now.
Say that to say, don't allow trying to be mindful with how I say this, because I want God to give me the right words, but don't allow foolishness to take us into separation and weed us out. Do you understand? Because sometimes that's what they want. And in times like this, they're telling us that. Okay? So as frustrating as I listen.
She's saying don't let, essentially what I'm gathering from what she's saying is that don't let this new administration divide us.
As frustrating as the whole situation is, as frustrated as I am, as all of you are, we still got to be smart. Now, you can still go into those stores if you choose to and buy specific brands that you want to support and let the other things, right, not get your money. Okay. But be very specific. There's so many women, right, that have worked hard to be a woman-owned business. Donna's Recipe.
So she's saying she gets it, but you can still go into Target and buy specific brands to support minorities. So I get it, boycott, but still come in and buy my stuff. Is what I mean, bottom line. I don't know how I feel about that.
Is Whitman, two women, me and Gina Wu is my business partner. We are self-funded. We're self-funded. And we are on shelves in limited doors at Target, right? Other companies.
Oh, you are?
right? There's a Black History Month is coming right now.
Yeah,
I
just went through all of, because I felt like I needed to catch up, because I've been trying to plan for this kind of transition to doing lives on YouTube, and I'm also live on YouTube right now. There's no one there. But one day I got to start somewhere. But yeah, I was, doing that, and I'm still getting used to like what this looks like and the logistics of my room and my setup and stuff. So I felt like I've had a lot of things like falling to the wayside. So thank you, John. I appreciate that. So I caught up today with and went over all of Trump's executive orders, which was great. And I had some people come in for that, and then got a list of things that I wanted to look into. We talked a little bit about it. Then we talked about the upcoming Senate hearings for the last kind of few directors and secretaries on Trump's administration that need to, sit in on the Senate hearing committees and meetings. And then, and now we're kind of talking a little bit about Target boycotts and Tabitha Brown specifically. This is kind of like my gossip, although it's not really gossip, but just kind of like the more lighter stuff.
brands are about to be showcased, some of them for the first time. And of course, they would do something like this right now, but they still need their moment. They still need our support. Only if you feel like you can and are willing to. I ain't telling you what to do. I'm telling you what, as a business owner, what we still need until we can get to another place, right? And I don't know when that other place will be. I know for me, I'm under contract. I'm gonna give it to you 100. I got another year. Then I make a decision. Okay. So many other businesses are just starting. They're just getting in. This is their big break to go to the next whatever phase of their business there may be. We have to have understanding and compassion for each other and not be in an emotional state, but also a smart state. Because if we start doing I'm not shopping there, and it's our businesses that are in there, that's their way that they will clean us out and replace us and say, well, your business is not performing. That's what people want. We can't give them what they want. Okay? I hope that this is making sense for somebody. And I know it's a long video, and I know somebody might not listen to the whole thing. But this is the truth. So I want to say right now, I thank you for supporting me for the last 5 years. I have worked with Target, with Walmart, with all the places that you have shopped for my products. I thank you for showing up for me. I thank you for supporting me. When you did, I thank you for showing out for me. And if you choose not to anymore, I understand that. And I still thank you and I'm grateful. But if you've heard anything that I've said today, if you still choose to show up for me, I thank you, but also showing up for others. We in it together, okay? But either way, be clear, I understand, all right? But remember this, if you don't remember nothing else, let's not give them what they want, okay? Don't let them take us off of shelves. Don't let them erase us. Numbers don't lie. We're needed. Our money is the dollar that really, really counts. Okay? Y'all go about your business. Know that I love you and have the most amazing day. But even if you can't have a good one, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's. I'll talk to y'all later.
Essentially, she's still asking for support, not just for herself, but other minority and women owned. She does. I really like her. I mean, I think I've tried like a couple of her like salad dressings and stuff, like her salads. She's got some vegan stuff too. It looks like she's got a. I actually went on when I was on TikTok this morning. There was another live host, and she was really upset. Her name's Tabitha Brown. She's like, she does like, she's got like home decor. She's got food. I think she has clothes. She's very beautiful. She's a beautiful woman, beautiful, educated businesswoman. She's Black. But this was kind of like her response. Like I know that a lot of people are boycotting, but you know, and if you feel like you can't go in because of that, you know, she understands, but she still, you know, would like support basically. And I get it. She's in a tough place. I just, I don't know. I don't know because I don't know what her contract says. I know that she says that she's got another year left of her contract with Target. Yeah, people are boycotting Target. And actually, that's actually on my things to do that I told some of my friends that were in here before, was coming up with a list of well, two lists. One of companies that use prison labor, and then the second one is companies that are eliminating DEI initiatives in their hiring and their employment practices. So, yeah, people are boycotting not only for that, but because of their influence and their actions about TikTok too. So a lot of people are boycotting Target, Amazon, Walmart, Whole Foods, because they're owned by Amazon. And then for obvious reasons like Meta. So like all the Meta products, Facebook, Instagram, Tesla, because of their part that they took in influencing government and taking action against banning TikTok in the United States. So there's a lot of stuff going on. But that's why I'm here, to do the research for people. So this person who posted on Tabitha Brown's Instagram post said, "Did they offer you a deal?" Oh yeah, okay. Did they offer you a deal if you helped convince Black people to continue to shop at these stores and not boycott? They clearly know your influence, which is why you have the contract. But what you haven't said is that even while knowing that these companies are exploiting y'all for Black dollars and show zero signs of actually caring for or giving back to our communities, you don't necessarily plan on divesting from them. It's true. Regardless, you're in a crappy position, and while Black dollars may help, Black dollars won't protect you if specific white folks decide that they don't want like those companies. Your contract may still have a year on it, but that doesn't mean they're going to be looking to renew if they're not already looking for a loophole to get you out sooner. It's true. Baby, I respect your retirement, but please, can you do the video you were going to do on her? We need you. Sorry you're stuck in a contract. My opinion. Honoring your request would result in us feeding the beast, and they would not feel an impact and therefore continue their destruction. Sacrificing is never ideal. Sacrifice is what has granted us so much progress. You speak so lovingly and gracefully. Your content always gives a warm embrace. Well, yeah, the DEI are things that, you know, a lot of people have to influence and affect a lot of people, specifically when, you know, they're being hired. So women, minorities, members of the LGBTQIA community, people with physical and mental disabilities also fall under this in hiring practices. And so eliminating that eliminates considerations that employers need to take when considering to hire people. It's given a lot of people a lot of opportunities that they may not have had before. So those are big worldly troubles for a lot of us. So let me... All right. I think I am going to get off, but I appreciate you guys coming on here and supporting me and showing me some love. Today was a longer day, so I'm getting used to this whole TikTok and Facebook thing together. And yeah, I'm happy. There's a lot more stuff I need to do, specifically like an organization to what it is that I want to, you know, cover with you guys and or answer questions or do any of those things. So I'll keep at it. And I thank you so much, John, for coming in and supporting me and all the other folks that came in before you. What are you up to today? I'm going to log off of Facebook, though. Hold on one second. Facebook, thank you for the support and the love. Yeah, I will be at it again. I will not stop. I will continue to be here and show up until someone shows up. Take care, Facebook, YouTube. I keep saying Facebook.